Hey guys, it's Lee with Silver Raven Farms. Today, our episode is on chicken math, and I did a blog post on this, and I'll link it in the show notes. So I started recording the first take of this, and I realized that I wasn't recording, and I was like, "Oh, oops!" And so I had to redo it. And the second, as I was going through and editing and, all that, like I was having to edit a lot and pretty heavily because I realized as I was, going through it that I may have placed a little too much blame where it didn't belong, and that's not what I do. I'm very transparent, and I also am very big on self. I'm blanking on the term, but basically taking responsibility, for your actions and your part of what you're doing, right? And that being said, the tone of that particular recording and podcast was not accurate. So we're gonna try it again. So take 3 of what is chicken math. Chicken math at its core is when you end up with more chickens. You start out with this number, and now you're at this number in a relatively short amount of time, and you're not really sure how it happened, right? You know how it happened because you ordered these creatures, right? But the flip side to that is that you may have ordered this, but you got a little more than you bargained for, right? And so chicken math is 100% my fault. It's your fault. Whatever. Because the reality is that you're saying, I want more chickens. So you buy more chickens, right? And so you end up in a position where you said, okay, I only need 10 chickens. And so you order those 10 chickens, or you're going to order those 10 chickens, and you go onto the hatchery's website. Now, we use McMurray Hatchery, and we've used McMurray Hatchery for the last 3 years, and we absolutely love them. And unless something goes horribly, terribly wrong, we will continue to use McMurray Hatchery. They really are fantastic, and the chicks are usually healthy, and I love McMurray. And so again, I will probably always order from McMurray unless something goes sideways. That being said, I do feel like some of this chicken math is McMurray's fault. And not just McMurray, it's all hatcheries, because what they're doing is they're doing the right thing. They are being proactive. They are, trying to look out for the people and all of that stuff. And again, I'm here for it. I love it. I think it's great. Except it creates a little bit of a problem, because what happens is you end up with extra chickens, and those chickens are the chickens that never die. And let me explain. Okay, so the very first batch of chickens that we ever ordered, we ordered from some whatever hatchery. I don't remember who it was. It was, like I said, the very first, summer or spring that we were here. So summer that we were here. And so we go get our coop, and the guy that we ordered our coop from said you can, very comfortably fit about 20 chickens in this coop. And I said, all right, cool. I don't want that many chickens. And Jared said, I don't think we need that many chickens. And I said, all right. So I think we ended up ordering something like 10 chickens. Whatever the minimum was is what we ordered. And so we order them. They come in. We start brooding those chicks in the house, and they sent a free chick. Now, again, most hatcheries send a free chick. That's what they do. And it is much appreciated, because one of these chickens is going to fucking die. And you now have a dead chicken, right? And so in our house, we brood small batches of chickens inside. Especially our laying hens, like almost exclusively our laying hens will get brooded in the house when it's a small batch, because we want them to be friendly. We want them used to sounds. We want them used to the dogs. We want the dogs used to them, so on. So we brood these creatures in the house, and Blue at the time was only a couple of months old. Okay. Now, Blue is a Great Pyrenees German Shepherd, and one of my favorite movie series is Jurassic Park. Okay. And Jared, knowing that one of my favorite movie series is Jurassic Park, decided to name her Blue. And this is the first female dog that I have owned at that current point in about 10 years. I usually have male dogs. I've had a lot of success with male dogs. Female dogs, I don't tend to have a lot of success with, whatever. She's what the breeder had. That's what I picked up, right? And she's great. Don't get it twisted. She is a good dog most of the time. So she's an itty bitty tiny baby puppy. I think she was 3, maybe 4 months old at the time when the chicks came in. Brooding them in the house. And her German Shepherd side took over instead of her Pyrenees side. And she ate a couple of chicks before we realized what was happening. And so then I think we lost a couple more. And I told Jared, I was like, we need to order some more chickens. And he's like, all right. So we placed the order at McMurray for their order minimum, whatever that was. And I want to say it was like 10, 15 chickens. And I was like, man, these guys are really cool. I'm going to order some extra. Right. And so, again, I don't remember exactly how many that second order was, but we placed a decent size order for chicks. And so everybody's here, everybody's, brooded out, everybody's healthy-ish, so we lost some. That's pretty normal. Well, McMurray sent us a free chick. And I forget what free chick. I think they sent us an extra Rhode Island red. Cool. Awesome. We get that one. We're raising them. Everything's cool. And we are now, 8 months into our chicken growing experiment. And we get our first egg. And it was really cool because the yolk was bright orange, like it was super cool. And then within a few short weeks, we are completely inundated with eggs. Like we are overflowing with eggs. And so I started selling them, right? Because we just don't eat that many eggs. And so I'm selling the eggs, and, I talked to Jared and I said, I think we need to order some more chickens. Like we got to replace our, this year's batch and da-da-da-da-da-da-da. And he's like, yeah, okay. So we ordered another batch of chickens. I think that this time we ordered something like 30 chickens. 20 or 30 chickens. And we get them, we brood them, we do all of the things. I don't think we lost any that time, but we free range our chickens. And so one of the big things that we do is on the website, it says if they're good at free ranging. And so we try to only buy chickens that are good with free ranging. We lost in 2022, we lost almost every single one of those chickens. They walked away. We had predators, whatever. We lost the majority of those. But we still had quite a few, and we were selling eggs. And all right, cool. This is great. It's working. Awesome. Until I looked at my feed bill one month, trying to set up my budget for 2023. And I said, wow, we spend a lot of money on feed. And I didn't put 2 and 2 together that the cost of which I was selling eggs was not meeting the financial burden of raising those hens and raising for eggs. And in my brain, I thought, well, if 15 laying hens is good, 60 will be better. And I don't know what the hell I was thinking. But that's the journey of chicken math, right? You get a couple, some die, you get some more, or they don't die, and or you end up, you go to Tractor Supply and you see that they have Easter eggers, or, you find out that they lay different colored eggs. And so now you got to get those guys. And, you keep buying chickens because, oh, this is great. This is great. This is great. This is great. And then you stop and you're like, what the hell have I done? I literally have 200 chickens. How did this happen? Well, we all know exactly how it happened, right? You ordered the chickens. You bought the chickens. That's how it happened. But again, you're still sitting there going, how the hell do I have this many fucking chickens? And so that's close to what happened with us in at the end of 2022. We ordered, it was something like, we ordered 100 meat chickens, and then 12 turkeys, 25 ducks, and what else do we order? And then we ordered 45 laying hens, right? Because 45 laying hens is roughly, with what we have currently, right? Everybody gets up to production, that's 75 eggs a day. Like that's a pretty good amount. Like that's a good amount of money, right? All right, cool. Until we get all of these guys, and in the summer of 2023, they ate my garden. And I tell you that they ate my garden, they decimated my entire tomato crop, the whole thing, all of it. They decimated my squash crop. There was none. Peas, green beans, anything that was in the big garden. Now, my big garden is about 15,000 square feet of garden space. And they ate everything. We did not harvest anything out of that space because of the chickens, the pigs, and the goats. This year was a horrible year for our garden. Like we literally, our big garden grew nothing. We relied solely on the kitchen garden, and the kitchen garden is something like 500 square feet of space. So still it's a lot of space. But we still weren't even able to grow that much because the chickens would eat it. Like I would go out and I would, plant a bunch of seeds, and, I'd come inside, I'd sit down to start working, and I'd look outside and there's chicken in the garden, and they were pecking all of the seeds that I just planted. So I'd yell for the kids, and they'd go get the chicken because they're my chicken catchers. And I'd clip their wings, and we'd put them, over here, and everything was fine. And then, next thing I know, they're back. And I'm like, how the hell do they keep getting into this garden? Well, the pigs would get in the garden, and they'd bust open the gate, and then the chickens would come in, or they'd, we'd miss the wings of one, and they'd fly over. And it was just this constant battle. And by August of 2023, I looked at Jared and I said, no more. No more. I like this is, the ball is in your court. I am not giving you an ultimatum, but the ball is in your court. Either we have chickens and no garden, or we have a garden and the chickens get put in a run. No more free ranging. And if they escape the run, we clip their wings. If they continue to escape the run, they go in the freezer. Like, this is it. I'm done. I am done. And he got upset because he really loves his chickens. And I understand that. I get it. I love my goats. If he was to come to me and say, absolutely not, I'd be upset too. But the big difference is that, these chickens are destroying stuff, and we need to fix that. And let's not mention the fact that because we let them free roam or free range, they literally are allowed to get into whatever they want to get into, right? They have little protection from aerial predators. They have zero protection from ground predators. And we just letting it go. And I told him, and again, this was something that we spent, several days talking about, trying to figure out the best way to do this. And I told him, I was like, we could put the chickens in their, A-frame tractors and run that tractor around the house. But I will not do this again. Like I'm telling you right now, I cannot put this much work into the garden, because again, by the time everything is all said and done, between the kitchen garden, the big garden, the greenhouse, and the little planters and stuff that I've got all around the property, we're sitting at something like 20,000 square feet of garden space. The orchards, like everything is 20,000 square feet of garden space. And we are just letting the animals destroy it because we can't take care of them. We can't make sure that they get put up or whatever. And after that conversation, we both agreed that we would put them in a run. And so we're revamping the big garden. And so the big garden the total footage will be 80 feet by 120 or 130 feet. Okay. And that will be, I think, like 15 feet of that on one side and 20 feet of that on another side, on the short and long side, respectively, is the chicken run. That's huge. That's a huge space that they're going to end up having. And we're going to section it off, and we're going to put the orchard in there. And we're going to put, stuff in there and fence everything, fence off the trees so that they don't get eaten by the chickens. But we're going to make sure that they're better taken care of. We're going to protect them. We're going to protect the garden. We're going to do the things that need to be done instead of just buying more when they run away. Well, maybe we can stop them from running away in the first place. Who knew, And so, because we don't want them stuck in a run, right? Because a lot of things happen. One, if you keep your chickens in a run, they will take it down to bare earth very quickly. When it gets down to bare earth, it compacts the soil. It starts to stink. You start having some, I don't want to say significant problems, but you start having some problems because they are confined and they are not moving. So issues with health, issues with their feet. There's a lot of stuff that goes along with when you pen up and keep them penned up. And so we don't want that. We want them to be chickens. But we also need to protect them. We also need to protect our gardens. We also need to make sure that we don't bring predators to the homestead. And so after a lot of thought and talking and all of that stuff, we've decided that we will not buy any new chickens this year because they do, create mayhem. And we're going to work with the chickens that we have, keep them in confinement, keep them in their run, and then, section off the run and then section off the garden so that they can come into the garden, and eat bugs and, do that. But with electric netting, with, these different things to help keep the garden protected and them protected. So we were a victim of chicken math. And, it's really your call on whether or not you're going to try to keep up with all these creatures, or you're going to say, nope, not worth it. It's up to you. You, that's the beauty of homesteading. You get to decide, because not every homestead must have chickens. You can have ducks. I love ducks. If I could talk Jared in to just having ducks, I would do it. I don't think he's ever going to go for it because he doesn't really like the ducks, and that's okay. But if you get to decide, and I encourage you, get 2, 3, 4 ducks from Tractor Supply or whatever your local feed store. If you've got a buy, sell, trade page, pick up a couple. It's okay, and if they don't work and you don't like them and there's too much, great. And then if you love them and you're like, man, I really like having chickens, you get to decide to buy 2 or 3 more. And always keep your numbers in check. Because again, what's going to end up happening is you're going to get so excited and you're going to go all in, and it's amazing. I love the energy. Like, I'm not being sarcastic, not being an asshole. I love the energy when I meet a new homesteader and they're like, I want to do this, and I want to do this, and I want to do this, and I want to do this. And they have this list of things that they want to do. And I'm like, I am here for it. I am excited for you. What can I do to help you? And, we'll start chit chatting. And then it happens every time, y'all, every time. They're like, I want to get chickens. That's one of the first things on their list. And then they get chickens and they all die. And they're like, I don't know if I want to get chickens again. I'm like, well, did you like them when you had them? Well, yeah. Okay. So get 5. Get 5 chickens. If all but one die, go get 5 more. Start small. Evaluate your needs. And then make an informed purchase on whether or not you're going to purchase more. Not a feelings purchase. Because, oh, they're so cute. Yeah. Unfortunately, I have bitten by the, oh, they're so cute bug a lot on this homestead. I still have a couple of baby goats that I decided that I don't want to keep them. I don't want these babies. I want them to go to a home. And they're still on my property because they're so cute. And they're called Choco Taco and Eden. And I'm not really sure how they ended up with those names. I'm not going to lie to you. They got named while I was at work is what happened. And so Choco Taco and Eden are probably going to be our freaking goats from now on. I'm not thrilled about it, but that's okay. It is what it is. They'll probably, because I don't want them, they'll probably end up being my best milk goats that I've got. That's what I'm thinking. And that's how you get goatiplication. Instead of chicken math, it's goatiplication. So anyways, I encourage you guys, if you want chickens, start small. 5, 10, whatever. Train your dogs. Chickens are squeaky toys. Okay. They're squeaky toys. I don't care how you slice it. A chicken and a duck are squeaky toys to dogs. Now, the only dog that I have that has yet to try to eat a chicken is Bear. And that's because he's old. But train your dogs, set a number, stick to that number, and have a good day.